And welcome back to another fasting check-in. I am 56 hours into this week's fast as we continue moving in the path of being healthy and taking charge of our health and taking charge of our destiny. Hey, I am 56 hours right now. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E if you're new to me. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. And right now, I want you to have the same successes in your health as you are having in the rest of your life. And so here we are working. We are providing a space where you can come and take charge of all those things that you need to do to be healthy so that you can be present for those most important things in your life, your family, your friends, your children, your grandchildren, all of those connections that we want to make. We want to give that back to you. You don't need superpowers. You don't need incredible inner strength. What you need is a system you can trust. You need a plan that you can follow, and you need the ability to keep going. Hey, thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. If you're new, go ahead and put new in the comments because we'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And let you know that we are excited that you are here hanging out with us. And also, if you do have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat, in the comments, or in the chat so that we will know that that's something that we need to get to as we continue moving in this space of being successful. Thank you for coming through. Whatever platform you're on right now, wherever you find yourself, we are glad that you are here and that you are doing what you need to do to be healthy. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's hop over. And we've got some good things that we're going to be looking at here in just a little while. We've got my monitors, which we'll take a look at here in just a little bit. I've got my reports that we'll take a look at as well. And we will get into our conversation as we are moving through the space. Once again, 56 hours into this week's fast. Those of you who ended your fast today, I'm excited for you. I'm going to give you a hand clap. Right, to let you know that I am excited for you. There were those of you who ended your fast yesterday, and kudos to you. And then, of course, some of our community members started their fast today. And then there are some who ended the fast today and some who started it today who are going into tomorrow as we get into our 72-hour fast. So thank you for all of that. I do want to go ahead and play our MOVE campaign. As you know, we are optimizing our metabolism. We are working to be healthy, and we are doing that as part of this 7-pillar health action plan that we talk about as we walk through that process. And part of that is our ability to move. And the MOVE campaign, metabolic optimization via exercise, gives us that space, gives us that opportunity for you to do that. Let's go ahead and look at that promo right now. Welcome to MOVE, metabolic optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is MOVE. Let's get started. All right, so very, very excited about that campaign. And over the course of the last week, those of you who are following us in MOVE, you'll notice that we have had some changes in our schedule and want to make sure that you are hanging in there and that you're showing up in that space. Some things are going on right now, and we've had to adjust. So just hang in there. If you need to, go back and watch one of the old episodes that we've been showing, so that you can continue in that process as you also are doing what you need to do to be healthy, right? So we want to make sure that that is not something that you are neglecting. If you've not been doing so yet, make sure you get over to our YouTube channel and make sure that you are walking through the Start Here video or Start Here playlist. As you get to the channel, you will see that list there, and that is the path that we are currently walking through. If you want to know how to started, how do I do the things that they're doing, that's where you would go. And then if you want to know what we're talking about this week, those things will show up in the playlist that's called This Week's Videos, all right? So make sure that you get over there as well as you are as you're looking for those things that will take you in the direction of being successful. All right. So let's do that. One thing that I do want to do, and let's go ahead and since I let me do this really quickly. Hold on a second, because my monitor went out just a little while ago. Well, went out this morning, and I haven't had a chance to change it yet. So I thought this would be an opportunity for us to just change that together. For those of you who have not seen that done yet, it will be an experience for you. And those of you who've seen it, just a refresher on how this works. So let me go ahead and I'm pulling up my app here, and I have one right off to the side. Give me just a second. And what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to change this monitor. And as you know, I wear two glucose monitors. I wear a Libre and I wear a Dexcom. And the Libre went out earlier, and I'm just getting things ready here so we can all do that together. Here we go. All right, and then back here. All right, so let's go ahead and, okay, there's something turned off. Give me just a minute, y'all. There we are. Okay, and so now everything should be working, and the one I want to pull up is this one. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and do that now. And so, so this is my Libre, and like I said, I wear two. I've got a Dexcom on one side. This is a G7, and I've got a Libre 3 Plus on the other side. And right now, the Libre 3 is out. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and take that off, and it's right here. So let me let's see. Let's do this view. See if you can see that. Maybe this one. Okay, there we go. So I've got one right here. Okay, and then I've got the other one right here. So this is the one that right now is not is out. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off, and you pull it off just kind of like a Band-Aid, right? So pull that off, and it's a little disc. And open up our box, and let's see. Let's go back over here. Let's look at this one. Okay, so this is a Libre 3. Okay, 3 Plus actually. Go ahead and open up that box and pull that out, and it's just kind of like a big screw. Okay, and basically you screw that off. Let me get these off the screen for a minute. Screw that apart, and then let me go back to this view here, and basically I find a spot, and I usually tell people, make a 90-degree angle with your arm, and I wear mine a little lower down. Most people wear it higher. I tend to protect my elbows more than I protect my shoulders. So if I wear it higher up, like up in here, then when I'm walking through the doorway, it'll hit it, or it'll get snagged on the seatbelt in the car or something. But when I wear it lower, like in this area down here, that doesn't happen. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back down there, and I'm going to just find a spot. Try not to get the same spot where it was before, and you may have heard that click, and now that's on. Run my finger around it so it's secure, and then now let's get to the app. And right there you'll see the app says start new sensor, which I just put one in, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the button, and it says next, and it says scan the sensor. And what I do is I take this phone and I put it to the top there, and you'll see it says scan sensor. It says ready, 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 and let's see. Come on. Let's see what's going on. And doesn't seem to be taking. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this scan error. All right, let's try it again. Scan sensor. Okay, there we go. Okay, sensor starting up. I'm not sure why it did that, but here we are. And so right now the sensor is starting up. It's going to take 60 minutes for us to get the first reading from that. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and we'll look at the other, which is my Dexcom. And this is a G7, which is on the other side. And then we'll come back and see what this shows later on. Okay? And now let's go ahead and take a look at my Dexcom. And so right now my Dexcom says that my blood sugar is 66, which you'll see right there. And if I look down below, right about here, you'll see the reports. And if I look over the last 24 hours, and I can run my finger across that, and you'll see there we're in the 60s and 70s, 60s and 70s. Popped up, let's see, right in there, 80s, 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 70s. And so for the most part for this evening, we've been in the 60s, okay? So that's actually pretty good. And so looking at the report now, my average blood sugar over the last 14 days has been 109, according to the Dexcom, with a glucose management indicator of 5.9. If I look at the 90 days, then 116 is the average with a glucose management indicator of 6.1. And so those are all in keeping with what I would expect. We tell people we want their average blood sugar to be between 100 and 120, and so that's right in keeping with that. And we'll take a look at actual numbers here in just a minute when we look at my Dexcom clarity report, which you see right down below. Okay, so we'll take a look at that here in just a little while. In the meantime, let's get over and let's take a look at what's been going on with my blood sugars as my Keto Mojo and my Condor, right? These are the two guys, finger sticks that I have. Let's go ahead and grab a test strip for the Contour. I need a brown and a blue for the Keto Mojo. Blue, of course, is ketone, and then the brown is the glucose. And then I need to get some Lancets. Let's get those and put my tray off to the side. Go ahead and open up the Contour case, get a strip out, and get that into the device. All right? And then we're going to go ahead and open up the strip for glucose for the Keto Mojo and get that inserted. And so it says error. Okay, so let's get that back out. And okay, there we go. And also open up the strip for the ketones for the Keto Mojo. And I'm going to leave this off to the side, and so it'll be ready for us. And then now grabbing there you are, a Lancet, and get a finger. And let's go ahead, and this is the one I've been picking on. Ow, 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 ow. That hurts. But it gave us a good brisk drop. All right, get that started. And what do you think my ketones are going to be, by the way? Go ahead and drop your guess into the chat. And let me go back here so we can see what this is compared to my, all right, so 63, 63. All right, so actually pretty close to each other. So 63 is what the Keto Mojo says. 63 is what the Contour says. And then right there, you'll see that my Libre or my Dexcom says that it's 66. Now, we don't have the Libre right now, but we'll see what that is later. And then now let me go ahead and get this strip out. and get the ketone strip into the Keto Mojo, right? And then get that started before this drop dries. And there we are. Okay, here we are. Got that going. So what do you think it's going to be? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1.4, y'all. 1.4. So let me go ahead and pull up the Keto Mojo app. Let's get that over here, and then we'll get that synced up. All right, so let's go ahead and do that and get that synced up. And this is where we were yesterday, if you remember. So my glucose was 70, and my ketones were 0.8, and then my glucoketone index was 4.8. So let's go ahead and pull that over, get that synced up, and let's see what that is. So when we talk about ketones, right, we want ketones to be between 0.5, well, we want it higher than 0.5 because 0.5 is the cutoff. If your ketones are less than 0.5, that's considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and then above 1.5 considered, 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, correct, and then above 1.5 considered therapeutic ketosis. So mine is in the 1.5 to 1.5 range, so I'm in nutritional ketosis now. So let's go ahead and pull this over. And so we're looking at these three numbers right here. 2.5 is what the glucose ketone index is. My blood sugar was 63. You see there in that red kind of burgundy-ish color. And then the ketones were 1.4. And this number, the 2.5, is just a ratio of those two. Now, if you're doing this in your head, you're like, well, that actually doesn't turn out to be 1 or 2.5, and that's because that is a calculated number, and so my monitor does it for me automatically. But if you don't have a monitor that does that, you can have the blood sugar and you have the ketones. You can actually go to, and I'm pulling up a website here. You can actually go to go on the web. Let's see, and we're going to go GKI calculator, right? And you can go on the web, and there are places where you can just calculate it. And in this case, I'm just going to go to the one that, for the website for the monitor I have. And let's go ahead, I'm going to pull that over. Let's look at this one right here, okay? And actually, let me do this, see if I can get both on the screen at the same time. Yeah. Well, let's do it this way. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, there we go. So right now, so my glucose was 63, and my ketones 1.4. And if I do that calculation, then it comes out to 2.5, which is right here. Right, so 2.5 right there, which is exactly the number that we got when we pulled it into my monitor app. Okay, there you are. And then let's go ahead and let's take a look at my graph. And so here is my Dexcom Clarity, my average blood sugar 110. I'm in range 97% of the time, range being anywhere from 70 to 180. And my glucose management indicator is 5.9. So if I were to get an A1C based on these numbers, that's what I'm expecting my A1C to be, right around that. Now, it may be slightly off because this is a calculated number, but it should be close to that. If I look at my report for the last 90 days now, we'll see that my average blood sugar 116, I'm in target 98% of the time, glucose management indicator 6.1, and the target still being between 70 and 180, right? And now scrolling over and looking at what's been going on with my blood sugars over the last several days, and we're going to go back and start when I started fasting right in here. If you've not done so yet, you want to go back and watch the episode where we did our pop-up where I started the fast, and you get to see what I ate for the meal right before the fast. So right in here is where we started the fast, around 95, 90, yeah, 95, anywhere from 91 to 94 was what my blood sugar was. And then now going forward, we'll see we were stayed in the 90s, 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 popped up above 100 there for just a little bit, but stayed in the 80s and 90s for most of the rest of that day. And so here at this point, we were 10 hours into the fast, blood sugar is 82. Going into the next morning, right? So we're in the 80s, 80s, 70s, spiked up a little bit there to 99, and then continued going in the 70s and 80s over the course of, and so right here now, this would have been 24 hours when we did our pop-up live yesterday. For those of you who ended the fast with us, hey, congratulations. And then continuing on, we stayed in the 70s, 80s, 70s, and 80s, dipped below 70 there just a little while, and then back up into the 70s. And then yesterday evening kind of stayed in the 60s for most of the evening as we got now, this is now, and we were 33 hours right in here, 33 hours. And then, so this is about 35 hours into the fast. Coming into this morning, we kind of maintained that 60, 70 range, right? And 80s, 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 80s. Doesn't look like it ever got above the 80s, but then dropped back down into the 70s and then down into the 60s. And so that's where we've remained for most of the rest of the day into where we are right now. Okay, so that's 56 hours into the fast, and that's what we want. We want those blood sugars to continue to remain in that low space. Now, looking back at these numbers, just a kind of couple of comments. We want the glucose to be low normal, we want the ketones to be high, and we want the GKI to be low, right? So that's the pattern that we want. Low normal glucose, high ketones, and then low GKI, right? And that gives us what we want in terms of our fast. And come back tomorrow, we'll talk about fasting in its entirety. We'll talk about how to prepare for the fast, how to get through the fast, and how to break the fast. And so you want to be there so you can understand what's going on in your body and what these numbers are telling us. Because I get excited when I see the low glucose and the high ketones. Okay, the GKI, I mean, is great to look at that and gives us the same information. But when I see that those ketones and I look at what's going on in terms of my glucose, then I get excited. One of the other things that we're tracking right here, and let me go ahead and just make a comment about that, is the reason I get excited about that is when I look at this graph, or when I look at this app. This is my weight app. Okay, and you'll see there, that's what my weight was this morning when I weighed. I didn't do it this evening, but that number is maintaining where it is and going down because of the fact that I have low blood sugars and high ketones. I want you to get that, right? So we're 56 hours into the fast now, and those two numbers, the low glucose and high ketones, are directly responsible for what you're seeing in terms of our weight. So come on back as we talk about that as we get into the rest of this week, okay? And so now let's go ahead and let's say hello to our community members. I see you guys out there. Let's do that now. Here we are. And I see Gian who came through and saying hello, Dr. and LLG. Hey, Gian, thank you for being here. And then Gian was guessing 1.4. I don't know, were you guessing 1.4, Gian, or were you reporting what I did here? I think you were guessing, because at that point, I don't think I had done the ketones yet. And so Kenti says 1.0. Gian says, hi, Kenti. Kenti, Gian, and hello from everyone. And Gian said, wow, thanks. Kenti and Melody Kendall. I used alcohol prep before applying the sensor. Hey, Melody, thank you for coming through and hanging with us. And yes, Definitely use alcohol pads and use that before you apply this answer. Great. I didn't do that, right? So I usually just take it off, put one on. Okay, but yes, you should do that. Kenti says, ha ha ha, thank you, hello. Kenti says, Gion, what's going on? And then smiley face from Gion. Kenti says 0.8, 1.5. You got it right 2 days in a row. Okay, so Gion was guessing at 1.4 as what she thought it was. And then Kenti's smiley face, Gion. Melody said, isn't blood sugar in the 60s too low? I thought it was better to be over 80. That's a very good question. And Melody, I'm going to hold on to that for just a minute, okay? But very good question, by the way. And Gian says, hi, Melody. Kenti says, I broke my fast with a lot of food yesterday, and I ate cakes. Yeah. So remember, and once again, as we talk about breaking the fast, come back tomorrow. You get to see what I eat for the first time after 72 hours, and you get to see what we break the fast with, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's see. Steve, hello. What's up going up, man? He said, hello, friends. Good. Hi, Steve. Happy to hear, Kenti says. Blah, blah, blah. I really enjoyed it. Gianna saying she enjoyed the cakes. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's have our conversation. And Melody, I have your question, so I have not forgotten it. I just tagged it, and we're going to look at that here in just a little while. So let's go ahead and let's hop over and talk about our conversation for this evening. All right, so at 56 hours into my fast and your fast, your body is no longer asking for energy, right? It's restoring it. It's actually in the process of getting energy from stores and putting it back into the circulation. So what began 2 days ago as a metabolic shift has now become a cellular conversion. Damaged proteins are being cleaned up, inflammation is quieting, and your cells are reestablishing order. This is where healing happens, not through force, but through alignment. And so we've been talking about alignment, and the body itself has these processes that when it is functioning the way it should, all these processes become aligned, and they help us with our metabolism. When every system finally agrees, stillness becomes medicine, right? So the next few minutes, what we want to do, we're going to look at how your body enters harmony at this stage of fasting and what that teaches us about adaptation, recovery, and what it ultimately says to us about limitless living, okay? So we're talking about this process the body goes through. And it really, cellular harmony is the idea, healing through alignment. Healing through alignment. And so there is this process that we talk about called autophagy, right? Autophagy, the cellular cleanup process. Healing is your body restoring order. And at 56 hours, you enter the deep repair phase of fasting. Inside your cells, something is happening, autophagy. That's a beautiful process that was someone actually, one of the discoverers, received the Nobel Prize for this. And it literally means self-eating, autophagy, self-eating. But not in the destructive way. It's your body's recycling program. Damaged proteins, unused, misshapen cells, cellular debris, they're being broken down and rebuilt into new, healthy structures. Your mitochondria, right? The power plants, those batteries in the cells, they're renewing their function. When we have autophagy goes off and it grabs some of those broken, damaged cells, some of those mitochondria that are not functioning, and it recycles them, sends them off, and it brings them back, and they're more efficient than they were before. Inflamed cells are retired, and you make room for better, more efficient ones. Science calls this process metabolic reprogramming. I call it alignment at the cellular level. Think about that. Every cell decides to cooperate with the same goal, healing. That's the definition of harmony, when things are working together for a common good. And the same principle applies to our lives. We heal when our actions, our thoughts, and our values agree on the same direction, when things are heading in the same direction. And that is the process of autophagy. It's the cleanup that's going on in our bodies. And so, along with autophagy, one of the things that's going on is that we're having inflammation improve. So inflammation is going down and clarity is going up. Calm is a healing signal. As autophagy continues, remember, it's getting all of those damaged, broken, misshapen, unused cells. The inflammation begins dropping dramatically. Cytokines, which are these things that are in the body that can cause inflammation, they begin to quiet. Oxidative stress falls. These are those free radicals that your body's making from as a part of the cleanup process. Because inflammation is going down, the oxidative stress falls, and your immune system shifts from fighting to repairing. Because remember, all this stuff that's in there, all this damaged stuff, all these cells that are there, these proteins that are being damaged, the body is in the process of looking and identifying all of those in the system. That's what the immune system is supposed to do. Now, if all of a sudden we're having inflammation go down, then the immune system doesn't have to fight those things anymore. It could turn its attention to repairing itself. This is why so many people describe a deep calm around the 2-day mark into their fast. That peace you're feeling isn't just psychological, it's physiologic. There is something literally going on in your body that is in the process of healing. When inflammation decreases, your vagus nerve, the body's rest and repair pathway, it lights up. We've all heard of the stress response, right? Fight or flight. Well, there's also another response in the body, and it's called feed and breathe. And it is literally the process of the body saying, hey, we are in a safe space now. We don't have to keep the cortisol up. We don't have to keep the epinephrine going. We don't have to keep all of those nerves on heightened alert. We can relax. And when the body relaxes, it is in the process of healing, repairing, and growing. Because remember, under stress, you don't grow under stress. The stress causes the body to be stagnant. And it's always in the surveillance process. Hey, what is something coming at us? We need to stay on heightened alert. But in this process now, the heart rate, the variability improves. Blood flow increases to the brain, and clarity begins to return. In the language of the inner design loop, this is the moment of adaptation. This is when we adapt. You're not forcing change, you're allowing it, because there are signals that are going back to different parts of the body saying, hey guys, it's good now, you can come on out, right? You're leading the body to trust its own design again. Because when inflammation goes down, clarity goes up. And then there is an emotional detox. There's emotional detox. So let's see how to say this. Let's release what no longer serves us. Fasting doesn't just clear the cells. It clears the stories. The same way that your body disassembles old proteins, your mind starts to disassemble old patterns. Emotions you didn't have time to feel, tension, sadness, anger, they may surface during fasting. Because remember, we use food as a buffer for so many things that the food that we're eating sometimes hides the emotions that are there because we use food as a barrier. We block our ability to feel that. I don't want to feel that way anymore, so I'm going to eat, and that blunts it. I don't want to go there. I don't want to think about that. I need something to just calm me, and so I eat, and that lowers the cortisol. Yes? But it's still there, and it's still eating at you, and it comes out sideways. Somebody says something to you, and you snap at them. And they think it's because of what they said, but it's not that. You're not dealing with that thing right there. You're dealing with all the stuff that have been built up that you never dealt with before because you've been buffering with the food. And now that we don't have food as a safety net, those feelings, they may come up. And that's not because you're fragile. That's not failure. That's not fragility. That's actually healing. Because all of a sudden, you've got to live life on life's terms. And you've got to learn now how to deal with all of that. So autophagy in the body mirrors detoxification in the inner person. It's your system saying, these memories no longer fit the design we're building. These behaviors no longer fit the life we're going to. These decisions we're making are no longer aligned with what we say we want to do. So when you feel those waves of emotions coming during this fast, during this stage, don't resist them. They're not dangerous. They are information. It's data that your body's giving you. And one of the things I love about being in this space is that it helps me to develop skills that I then can apply to other areas of my life. That's your inner realignment in motion. Fasting reminds you that detox isn't about emptiness. It's about clarity. It's not about emptiness. It's not about, I can't eat that or I'm giving that up. It's me making a decision that I'm going to use this tool to improve my metabolism. I want you to hear what I said. I am making the decision. You are making the decision that you're going to use this tool to right your metabolism, to improve your metabolism. And just like any tool that you have that you're going to use, if you got a hammer, you got a screwdriver, you got something at the house, you want to understand how the tool works, what the benefits are, and what are the best practices for the tool. Okay? So that brings us to the inner design loop. The inner design loop. We adapt and we align in real time. And how do we do that? We let stillness do its work. Let's walk through the phases of the IDL, the inner design loop. Remember, we talked about this in our last episode. So awareness. noticing what's going on in my body. My body's talking to me. Your body's talking to you. It's talking to us all the time, but because we're so busy, because we're so used to doing things in a certain way, because we're so used to using food as a buffer, we don't notice that. But when we're fasting, remember, it's just us in the raw. The quiet of what's going on in the fast pulls our attention to what the body's telling us. Notice the quiet healing. Energy may feel low, but clarity is higher. Your body is taking ketone or taking fat cells, converting it to ketones. Those ketones, beta hydroxybutyrate, good for the brain. During the fast, we're making brain-derived natriuretic factor, BNF, BDNF, which is like miracle grow for the brain. Clarity is happening here. The food noise is gone. Awareness, being aware of ourselves. Intention, choose gentleness. You're not pushing your body, you're partnering with it. This is not, I'm going to force myself through this fast. I'm going to white knuckle it because they told me I got to fast. By God, I'm going to fast. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. Right? This is not where we want to be. Remember, you're choosing to fast. You're choosing to use a tool. This is your decision based on what you say you want to do, rhythm, alignment, and structure, based on what you say where you say you want to go. I was talking to our community members earlier today in our community meetup. We do that once a month. And I was explaining to them that my transformation in myself personally occurred over several conversations with patients, with my own story. But one of the things someone said to me, one of the patients, I asked him, how do you maintain? Because he looked amazing. His blood sugars were good, taking care of himself. I said, what's driving you? This was several years ago. He said, man, I've got a daughter who's growing up. And I want to be around when she gets married, when she grows up, to walk her down the aisle. And then he said these words. He said, it's the responsible thing to do. That thing hit me like a brick because I started thinking about my son who's growing up, who was about to begin experiencing so much that life has to offer. And I imagined what it would be like if I were not around to help guide him through some of that, to help him around some of those pitfalls that I personally had fallen into. And then I thought, what would it be like if I were here? If I could, and we're on a trek right now, right? So one of the things that we're doing, he loves basketball. So we're on a trek across the country to see the NBA teams. And those trips have been amazing. But for me to do that, I had to be healthier. I could not stay in the place where I was. So my intention here is I've got to be around for my family. I've got to connect with them. I've got to be there to help him with basketball and help him when, like I came home tonight, he was showing me his score on his PSAT and telling me about one of the projects that he had. And he's starting to drive now. And I taught him to drive. Me. I got to sit in the car with him, and when he went to take his test and came back and he passed the test, and I said, hey, how was it? And he said, oh, it was good, because the stuff that you taught me, the stuff that we did together helped me there. Me. my why, my intention. What's your intention? And then actions, right? So walking through the ideal in a design loop. Awareness, intention, action. So slow movement, hydration, rest, reflection, fasting, our 7-pillar health action plan. Are your actions consistent enough? And are they in keeping with where you say you want to go? So when life happens and you're tempted to get off the track, the intention says, hey, I can't do that because I'm heading somewhere. And that thing, that decision, that behavior is not consistent with where I say I want to go. If I'm fasting and I say I'm getting through the fast, am I resting? Am I hydrating? Am I reflecting? Am I doing the things that I need to do to successfully get through the fast? And then reflection. Ask, what is my body teaching me in this stillness? Don't ignore it. There are thoughts that you're going to get. There are connections that you'll make while you're fasting that you would never get outside of fasting. There's enlightenment that happens. There are things that you will begin to process. There are memories, there are feelings, there's understanding that you'll get in the fast that doesn't come in other times because you're so busy. There's so much noise. There's so much buffering. You're using food. You're using other things to blunt life. And in fasting, there's stillness. So we're reflecting. And then because we're reflecting, we now begin to realign. As you prepare, as you walk through the fasting process and you notice things, don't just ignore them. How is that insight now going to apply to your life in general? And in particular, as you prepare for refeeding, to re-enter the eating world, you want to do it intentionally. Because how you break your fast is as important as how you get into it and how you kept it. Many people get through the fast and they undo, when they break the fast, the things they eat in those first several hours, they undo the things that they got in the benefit that they got in the fast because they did not do so intentionally. I don't just show up at the end of my fast and say, okay, I'm going to eat now. I have a plan for what I'm going to eat prior to getting there. Because, can I be honest with you? If I just show up at the end of the fast to eat something and say I'm going to eat now, the thing I'm going to eat is not the stuff that's in keeping with what I want to eat. So that realignment, that's adaptation in action. Sensing, listening, adjusting. It's the moment where discipline meets design. Discipline meets design. So we want to make sure that we're doing all the things that we need to do. So here's your challenge. Here's your challenge. Let stillness do its work. So I want you to pause long enough to heal. Here is your challenge. Don't rush to fill the quiet. Sit in it. Because in that stillness, the body heals and the mind hears it. I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, what am I ready to release? Because I'm learning about myself. I'm understanding what's going on in my body. I'm making connections. The food is not there as a buffer. So now I'm having to deal with those things in the raw. Am I ready? What am I ready to release that's currently keeping me stuck? If it's a weight issue, if it's a blood pressure issue, it's a cholesterol issue, if it's a blood sugar issue, what's keeping me there? And if I have a tool that I can use, what's keeping me from using it? So what am I ready to release? Number one. Number two, what is my body repairing that my schedule used to hide? Come on. If you're fasting with us, you're doing an intermittent fasting, you're doing 24-hour fasting, you're doing 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever it is, what is my body repairing during the fast that my schedule is hiding? Because there's something that's going on in me that my body has to repair during the fasting. Blood sugar, weight, fatty liver, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. The body will attempt to heal that. But if our schedules are such that we're not giving time, we're not taking the time, we're not resting, we're not taking the time to eat well, we're not taking the time to move, we're not taking the time to, right, all of those things, the body will try its best. But we can, based on our schedule and based on what we do, we can negate a lot of that. So what am I ready to release? What is my body repairing that my schedule used to hide? And what alignment can I protect as I get into the refeeding, as I come out of the fast and re-enter the next cycle? That's your challenge. I want you to think about those. So remember this. Healing isn't just recovery. It's realignment. It's the moment when every system in you decides to cooperate. So pause long enough to listen. Adjust gracefully and let your design work for you. This is the process that we're in. What we're doing is designed to allow you to have success in your health, just as you've had success in other aspects of your life. Don't relegate this to the back burner. Your family will thank you. Your community will thank you. You will thank you. Because when you do this, you're around and present for those most important things in your life. For the children, for the family, for the grandchildren, for the weddings, for the births, for the showers. You're around to make connections. You're around to travel with your spouse. You're around to see the benefits of all the things that you guys have been investing for all these years. So stay aligned, stay consistent, and keep living limitlessly. All right, all right. And yes, it is. It is one of my favorites. That's right. I'm going to say it. One of my favorite conversations. Because the body is so adept at doing what it does, and we've just got to give it space. We've got to give it space. Okay, so let me go ahead. I did bookmark one of the comments, one of the questions. Let me go ahead and hop over there. And it was from Melody. Melody said, let's pop that up here really quickly. There we go. She said, isn't blood sugars in the 60s too low? I thought it was better to be over 60. All right, so let's go back here and let's have that conversation. So very good question, and you are absolutely correct. because blood sugars less than 70 are considered hypoglycemia, right? So normal blood sugars are anywhere from 70 to 99. That's a normal range for a blood sugar. Above that, the 100 to 125 is considered prediabetes, and then 126 and above is considered diabetes, right? So that's the range. What is interesting here, and why we don't worry when the blood sugar is below 70, right, in the 60s, for example, is because my body is no longer using glucose or sugar for energy. Which is why I said earlier, I love the fact I get excited when I see low blood sugars and high ketones. Because that tells me in order for my ketones to be high, my body has to be breaking down fat. And it only breaks down fat. It only goes to fat oxidation when my insulin levels are of such that the body doesn't have to go store. So when my blood sugars go down, my insulin also goes down. And when insulin goes down, then my body starts burning fat and it converts fat into ketones. And now it has a source of energy that is very clean and very good. So that's why it's kind of like a hybrid car, right? That burns gas and it uses a battery. So when the gas goes down, 60, right, blood sugar, I don't worry because my body has the battery. And so in this case, the body is using ketones for energy, which is why having a low blood sugar, something below 70, is not as big a deal. Now, there are some caveats to that. Of course, if you're type 1, you want to make sure that you're watching those ketones and the ketone levels so that we don't get into diabetic ketoacidosis or DKA. Okay? But other than that, the low blood sugars while fasting, as long as those ketones are up, the ketones are providing the energy that you need. So very, very good question, Melody. That is a very good point that you make there. So the answer to your question is yes, with the caveat that while we're fasting, that concept changes a little bit. Okay? All right, so let me go back up. Let's see, where were we? And all right, so let's see here. So that was Melody's question. Let's go down. So we answered all of those. Juan was saying she really enjoyed her cakes. And too challenging. I see. Love that about just Wednesday, no food. Okay. Okay, so Gian was saying, okay, we're similar time. Haha, whoa. Too challenging. And I think they're talking about fasting there. Gian says, I'm an emotional eater. Kenty say, I can't plan well, but I'm doing that already. Okay, I think I jumped into the middle of that conversation. Oh, okay, so kind of about what you're doing currently. Okay, so I'm almost talking about the different fasting types. I'm assuming fasting times. Great job, Kenty. I appreciate it. And let's see. Yeah, so plan poorly means eating unhealthy foods. Correct. Right? So we basically, and that's what Kenty's saying now, we grab whatever's available. And that's what I was saying. If I don't plan what I'm going to eat, yeah, then when I do eat, I end up grabbing whatever's around. I do not struggle with binging, but my inner critic is very harsh. Yeah, that inner critic in us can be very, very problematic, right? We are our worst critic. Okay, trying for progress, not perfection. Correct. All right, I love that. Love that. All right, so we are here working to help you stay alive as long as possible and keep you healthy as possible. That's the goal. All that we do for you to reclaim your health, reclaim your life, and reclaim the control. For you to get here in this space, the success in your health like you're having in other parts of your life. And we do that through the Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the podcasts, with the blogs. We empower with the tools that we provide. The tools, the heat model, habits, emotions, access, and tastes. The COPE model, how do I manage in a stressful situation? The 7-pillar health action plan that walks you through the process of reclaiming and redesigning and realigning your metabolism. We educate, we empower, we encourage with this amazing community that you are a part of, that we encourage you to continue to show up for and to continue to be a voice for change. You can be that voice in your community, in your family, in your doctor's office, at your church, around your neighborhood, wherever you are. You can let people know that you're having success, and we don't have to keep having the complications. We don't have to keep having heart attacks, keep having strokes, keep struggling with obesity and weight and fatty liver and polycystic ovarian syndrome and even some cancers, some Alzheimer's, the dementia that people are suffering with as a result of metabolic disease. We don't have to keep having that. You can be a voice. And when you get benefit, share that with people around you. Let them know that there's a different way. Point them in this direction. Point them to the channel. Send them to the Start Here playlist that's on the channel. As they walk through that, they will begin to understand how the body works and the choices they can make to be successful. That's reclaiming. And then show up, share your story, share your successes, and share those places where you're having challenges. Because we want to know the community gets richer when you are here in this space. Remember, you don't need to have superhuman strength. You don't need another plan. You need a plan that you can follow. You need a system you can trust. And you need the determination and the drive, the alignment and the rhythm to keep going. Hey, I'm always excited when I get to hang out with you. We will be back tomorrow for our fasting review, a complete review of fasting, how to get into the fast, how to successfully make it through the fast, and then how to break the fast. Come on back. You get to see what I eat for the first time after 72 hours. On Saturday, we'll have a video from the vault at 9 p.m. Central. On Sunday morning, we'll have This Week in Review, 6 a.m. Central, and then we'll be right back here for Dwain Woode MD Live on Monday at 7 p.m. Central as we continue our pathway to be healthy. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are taking back the control. We are realigning. We are working to get success in this space in terms of our health, just like we're having success in other places. Not a new plan, not inner strength, but a plan you can trust, a strategy you can follow, and the determination, the rhythm, and the alignment to keep going. Good night, everybody. Let's take a look at the Move promo, and then we'll be out of here. Have a great one. Welcome to Move, metabolic optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is Move. Let's get started.